So here we'll take a look at a piece of technology called Microsoft SharePoint and how it can be used for sharing innovation-related information. On this first screen, we're looking at about 15 or 16 different innovation plans for various different types of organizations, some profit, some non-profit. Some of them are entire organizations, and some of them are departments within organizations. Each of these represents an individual innovation funnel. If we take a look inside one of the innovation funnels, in this case Emerge Designs, which is a design department inside a corporation called Emerge Designs. We can see that they've chosen this type of interface. They've got a small logo and they've got a number of web parts. And these are individual containers that are used to serve information related to innovation within the department. Anybody in the world, provided they've got a username and a login, can access this innovation funnel and can share the innovation related information with each other. If we take a look inside some of the containers, for example, requirements, you can see that there's a number of records. The records are divided into a number of different groupings or stakeholders, and each record is defined by a number of fields. So we have a title field and so on. All of these fields are defined by the user or by the team. They can add fields, they can subtract fields, and so on. They can also create a number of different views. For example, this is a default view. It's called the main view, and it's showing us the title of the requirement, who's responsible, who the stakeholder is, and what the status is. We can also have, for example, a results view that'll show us slightly different fields from within the same records. For example, the title, who's responsible, the percentage complete, and the status. Nice thing about SharePoint is it allows the user to create any type of web container, web part, or information container, define any type of fields within that container, and then put it on the website to be shared by the individuals who are in the team. So if I just click through some of these very briefly, we've got projects here. Slightly busier record in that it has a larger number of fields. We can just see the number of fields that are in that particular web container. I can ask SharePoint to alert me to various different events. For example, I go back into projects again. I can ask SharePoint to alert me whenever something happens within this particular web part. So if there's a change, if there's an item added, then it'll send me an email either immediately or perhaps a weekly summary. Just a quick look at how to create a web part. SharePoint comes with a number of predefined templates, and these templates allow web parts to be set up very quickly. For example, the simplest type of template is a custom list, and if I create a custom list called test, just to show you how it can be created, this could equally have been individuals or statements or objectives or indicators, as you saw earlier, and it comes in automatically with one type of field called the title field. If we just open up this very briefly. There's only one field. It's not a very useful container at the moment. But if I go back to the list, SharePoint allows me to modify the settings, and, for example, among many other things, allows me, for example, to add what it calls a column, what someone else might call a field. So I can add a new column. For example, it might be a due date, and I'll make it into a date field. There's a number of other things I can select, but if I just click OK, then when I go back to this particular container, it's called test, then you can see that I have a title field and a due date field. And of course, if I create a new item, then I've got both of those fields available to me. Nice thing about SharePoint is that it allows individuals anywhere in the world to access the innovation-related information, to share the information, to update and edit the information online, all managed by a database back at the SharePoint server, and of course allows the user to fully customize the way in which they share innovation-related information. The first worksheet we're going to look at is a worksheet that contains a number of hyperlinks to other worksheets that contain the information. And you can see that the various different worksheets are divided into goals, actions, teams, results, and communities. For example, under goals we have a worksheet for statements, and that gives us all of the different statements that they've agreed for their particular organization. Statements like strengths, weaknesses. For example, one of their weaknesses is that they have an unreliable manufacturing process. So they've made a note of the various different statements around their organization. Another worksheet is based on requirements. These are the requirements from their different stakeholders. They've identified their stakeholders, for example, their customers, and what it is their customers want. And again, they're sharing this information using a very simple table on a spreadsheet. They've defined the various different rows as individual records, and the different columns as perhaps fields for each of the records. So for example, one of the customers or one of the requirements that customers are interested in is reducing lead times, and they've allocated responsibility for that requirement to F. Gregan. And we can also see that that requirement is in a fairly neutral position at the moment. It's not doing well, nor is it doing badly, but this is how they're choosing to share the results of the work that they're doing on these requirements. Let's take a quick look at some of the other tables that they have. These are the objectives, their strategic plan, if you like, that they've agreed on. They've divided their strategic plan into different headings. They've told us, they're telling us exactly what the strategies are, for example, introducing a new product range and who's responsible. They're also telling us what their performance indicators are. In this case here, they've chosen 8 performance indicators, for example, turnover, percentage market share, cost of materials. They're also telling us different attributes of those performance indicators, such as their current value, target value, who's responsible, and so on. The nice thing about this type of technology is that spreadsheets are very easy to use. They're very widely available. Every laptop, every computer has one, and people have a very short learning curve in how to use their spreadsheet to share innovation-related information. Just take a quick look at their relationships. For example, they're telling us what the relationships are between the individuals and the skills that they defined in previous worksheets. And there are many other types of relationships that they're looking at. For example, objectives versus activities, objectives versus projects. And the nice thing about these tables, again, they're very simple to use. They allow the organization to figure out, well, which projects don't have objectives aligned, which objectives don't have any projects going on at the moment.